In this video, we'll go over the administration tab of ScaleSoft. We'll kind of start our way from the top and work our way down to the bottom. The very first thing you have is the connection. And what this does is the connection to the initial database that we set up earlier. Again, it's a SQLite database, very small, nothing special needed for it, and good for small installations. If you were setting up a new connection, you could just right-click anywhere where there's white space and say New. And what this is going to do is automatically create a new connection. You can give it a name. Application name, provider, and then if you're staying with a SQL provider, you can put in your data source, your database name, user ID, and password. And then we could hit save and close. Say no to save the changes. The next thing we're going to want to set up is an actual scale. Again, by default, it creates one for you. And we're going to set up to work with my TCPIP Simulator. And what I want to do is set up the scale data port to work with my simulator here. So I'm going to change it from a COM port to a TCPIP port. I already have localhost set, and we just need to change the listening port. I can hit save and close, bring up my simulator, and give it a test. We can see that indeed my simulator is now working, and I have weight down here inside ScaleSoft. The department, by default, there are none set up in the software. That just allows you to create departments and groups of people, almost like a role or group heading. So that way you could put people in reports or waymasters or administrators, so on and so forth. Invoice status. If you click new, you can give it a new stage for an invoice. So maybe if you wanted to say overdue, you could give it a description overdue and change what stage that invoice is in. So an unlimited number of stages that you can create or descriptions that you can create to attach to your invoices. The I/O module allows you to use inputs and outputs to control scoreboards, stoplights, photo eyes, cameras, and some of the other things that are able to be used with the software. You can then create a set of rules on which to fire those actions at. I'm not going to get into that because that could be a whole video in and of itself. Payment terms, just different type of payment methods. Account, cash, check, credit card. You could add a PO or some other type of payment term. QuickBooks, if you were attaching to your QuickBooks database, you can set the file, the password, the port, and the username in here. What that'll allow you to do is pass information to and from QuickBooks, and that's built in right out of the box. Reports we'll come back to in another video here, but you can see a list of reports that are available, built in, different tickets, a sample invoice, a hauler detail, a daily activity, and a customer detail. Roles, again, similar to departments, but basically a set of permissions that are attached to that as well, so that you can have waymasters only weighing trucks in and out, not able to report on any of the data. And then administrators that would oversee maybe people that can run reports and your waymasters as well. Sales order status, again, very similar to your invoice status. There's a couple of stages built in, and then you give it a description. Sales tax, pretty self-explanatory again. New option, allows you to give it a description. You can set a tax rate, and if it's a tax delivery taxable. Scale, if you were listening to multiple scales, you would want to set them up in here. You can see out of the box, we have our generic truck scale. You really shouldn't have to do too much changing. Most indicators should work out of the box. If not, then you can come in here and make a couple of tweaks. You can go some of the ones that are built in with a GSE, a Balanchai, triaxle, those types of things. Signature tablet, if you purchase the full-blown administrative license, you would have received a box with a signature tablet in it. You can set that up and test it in here. By default, again, it's USB. It's already pre-configured and ready to go. All you should have to do is plug it into one of the USB ports on your computer. Signature tablet, again, it comes with it built in. All you should have to do is plug it into the USB port and give it a test. You can see here it's pre-configured. If you were to have a older style signature tablet that you were using, you could come in here and set your COM port otherwise. Ticket header, if you wanted to set up your company information, contact information, so that way it prints on every ticket without having to manually put that on every ticket or invoice, so on and so forth. When you're designing reports, you can set that information here and then just drag and drop it on the report designer. Last but not least, we have our administrator/user setup. You can add new users by clicking new, give them departments, fill in a lot of the information that you see here, set different permissions if you had custom permissions set, phone numbers, roles, all that stuff. That pretty much sums it up for this part of the demonstration. We'll get into the hauling setup next and the reports setup as well.